I thought the bank just called about a random error. Then she said, "Ma'am, you've been making withdrawals in Phoenix." I laughed. "That's not me." She paused. "It's under your name." My stomach dropped. I checked the account. The balance was gone. And the last login came from my mom's house. I didn't say anything for a second. I just stared at the screen like it was going to correct itself. "Ma'am," the woman said again, "do you want us to freeze the accounts?" "Accounts. Not account." "Yeah," I said. "Freeze everything." My voice sounded wrong. Flat. Like I wasn't fully inside my own body. I ended the call and opened my laptop again. One account turned into two. Two turned into five. Different banks. Different balances. Some empty. Some in the negative. Some still active. All under my name. I checked the timestamps. Recent. Some of them, today. That's when my chest started tightening. Not panic. Not yet. Just that slow, heavy realization. This wasn't a mistake. I grabbed my keys. The drive from Chicago to Houston blurred together. I don't remember most of it. Just the rhythm of the road and the same thought looping over and over again. There has to be an explanation. There has to be. When I pulled into the driveway, everything looked normal. Same house. Same porch. Same quiet street. Nothing about it looked like the place where my entire life just got ripped open. I knocked once. She opened the door like I was early for dinner. "Sarah," she said. "You should have called." "I got a call from a bank in Phoenix," I said. She blinked. That was it. No confusion. No concern. "I don't know anything about that," she said, already turning away. "Do you want coffee?" I stepped inside anyway. "No," I said. "I want you to explain why there are accounts in my name that I didn't open." She sighed. Not nervous. Annoyed. "Lower your voice," she said. "You're overreacting." That word snapped something in me. "I'm overreacting?" I said. "There are loans. Cards. Withdrawals. What did you do?" She walked into the kitchen like this was routine. "Sit down," she said. "I'm not sitting down." She poured coffee. Took her time. Then, without looking at me, she said, "The money's gone." Everything went quiet. "What money?" I asked. She finally looked at me. "Your father's." I felt like the floor shifted. "That was supposed to be transferred to me," I said, "when I turned 25. And you turned out fine without it," she said. "Like that settled it." "You used it." I said. "I needed it," she replied. "Things were hard after he died." "And you didn't think to tell me?" "You would have overreacted." That word again. Like this was my fault for feeling anything at all. "Okay," I said slowly. "That explains the inheritance. What about the accounts?" She hesitated. Just for a second. But it was enough. "It was temporary," she said. My chest tightened. "How long?" She looked down at her mug. "A couple years." I laughed. It came out sharp. Ugly. 2 years. I said. "You've been using my identity for 2 years?" "Don't say it like that," she snapped. "It sounds worse than it is. What do you want me to call it?" "I was going to fix it," she said. "I just needed time." "With what?" I said. "Money you already took?" "You have a good job," she said. "You're stable." "I knew you'd be okay." That was it. That was the moment everything inside me just shut off. "You knew I'd be okay," I repeated. "Yes," she said. No hesitation. No regret. Just certainty. I stepped back. "I'm going to fix this," I said. "Good," she said. "We can handle it together." "No," I said. "Not we. Me." Her expression shifted. "You don't need to involve anyone else," she said quickly. "We can keep this private." Private. Like it wasn't fraud. Like it wasn't years of damage. "I'm done keeping your secrets," I said. She didn't like that. Her voice sharpened. "You're being selfish," she said. "After everything I did for you." I just stared at her. Because that was the first time she said it out loud. Like I owed her. Like my life was something she could spend. And I realized. She didn't think she stole from me. She thought she used what was hers. I left. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I just walked out. And something about that felt final. I didn't cry on the drive back. That's the part that scared me. I kept waiting for it. That breakdown moment where everything hits at once. But it didn't come. Just this, quiet. Like my brain was trying to process something too big all at once and decided to shut parts of itself off instead. By the time I got back to Chicago, it didn't even feel like I had just driven across states. It felt like I had stepped out of one life and into another. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop open, going through everything again. Every account. Every transaction. Every date. Trying to find a pattern. Trying to understand how bad it actually was. It was worse than I thought. Some accounts were maxed out. Some were just opened. Some had been active for months with small charges, like she was testing limits, seeing how far she could go without setting off alarms. It wasn't messy. It was careful. That's what got to me. This wasn't panic spending. This wasn't desperation. This was planned. Around 3 in the morning, I found something that made my stomach twist. One of the accounts had a payment history that didn't match anything else. Consistent deposits. Same amount. Same date. Every month. Not random. Regular. Like someone else was involved. I stared at it for a long time. Then I clicked into the details. The payments weren't coming from my accounts. They were coming from another name. I didn't recognize it at first. Then it clicked. It was someone I hadn't heard in years. Robert Brown. I actually leaned back in my chair when I saw it. He wasn't just some random name. He was someone my mom used to talk about after my dad died. At first, just casually. Then more often. Then not at all. I never asked about him. I didn't want to know. But now his name was tied to accounts under mine. That wasn't coincidence. I picked up my phone. I didn't call her. Not yet. Instead, I searched his name. It didn't take long. Same city. Same age range. And then I saw something that made everything shift. A public post. A picture. My mom. Standing next to him. Smiling. Recent. Not years ago. Now. My chest tightened again, but this time it was different. Not confusion. Not shock. Something sharper. I went back to the transactions. The monthly deposits. They lined up. Perfectly. Like clockwork. Like he wasn't just involved. Like he was part of it. Or worse. Benefiting from it. I leaned forward, elbows on the table, staring at the screen. And for the first time since this started, I felt something close to anger. Not loud. Not explosive. Focused. Because this wasn't just my mom making bad decisions. This was something else. Something bigger than I thought. I finally called her. She picked up on the second ring. Sarah, she said, like nothing had happened. I was going to call you. No, I said. You weren't. She paused. What is this about now? She asked, already irritated. Robert Brown, I said. Silence. Real silence this time. Not annoyance. Not dismissal. Silence. My grip tightened on the phone. How is he connected to the accounts? I asked. I don't know what you're talking about, she said too quickly. You do, I said. His name is tied to the payments. Monthly deposits. Same amount. Same dates. Don't lie to me again. Another pause. Then she sighed. Different this time. Not annoyed. Tired. Sarah, she said, you're digging into things you don't understand. I understand enough, I said. Did he know? She didn't answer. Did he know you were using my name? It's not like that, she said. That wasn't a no. My chest tightened again. Then what is it like? I asked. He helped me, she said. When things were bad. By using my identity? You're twisting it, she snapped. He loaned me money. That's it. Through accounts in my name? He didn't care where the payments came from, she said. That hit hard. Not just that he knew, but that he didn't care. So you're telling me, I said slowly, that you took my identity, opened accounts, borrowed money through them, and he was fine with that? It wasn't supposed to go this far, she said. That line again. Like everything was an accident. Like none of this was a choice. How much? I asked. She didn't answer. How much, Mom? Another pause. More than you think, she said quietly. I closed my eyes. That told me everything. This wasn't just you surviving, I said. This was you building something on top of me. That's not fair, she said. No, I said. What's not fair is you deciding I'd be okay without ever asking me. She didn't respond. And for the first time, she didn't try to argue. Because there was nothing left to say. I ended the call. And just sat there. Staring at nothing. Because now it wasn't just betrayal. It wasn't just years of decisions. It was something else entirely. She didn't just take from me. She built a life that depended on taking from me. And I didn't know which part hurt more. The fact that she did it. Or the fact that it worked for so long. I didn't call her back after that. Not because I didn't have more questions. Because I already knew enough. That's the thing about certain truths. Once they land, they don't need explaining. They just sit there, heavy, permanent, changing everything around them. I went back to the accounts. Not looking for proof anymore. Looking for damage. I made a list. Every card. Every loan. Every balance. Every late fee. Every interest charge that had been quietly growing while I was living my life thinking everything was fine. By the time I finished, it didn't feel like numbers anymore. It felt like weight. Something I was expected to carry without ever agreeing to it. The next morning, I met with James again. He didn't look surprised when I told him about Robert. That complicates things, he said. How? I asked. It means this isn't just misuse, he said. It's coordinated. That word stuck. Coordinated. Like this wasn't just my mom making bad decisions. Like it was structured. Intentional. What are my options? I asked. He leaned back slightly. You separate yourself legally, he said. Fully. That means filing fraud reports against every account. Naming everyone involved. Everyone. I knew what that meant. You're saying I have to report her, I said. I'm saying if you don't, he said calmly, you stay tied to everything she did. I looked down at the table. It wasn't really a choice. It just felt like one. What happens to her? I asked. He didn't answer right away. She'll be investigated, he said. And if there's enough evidence, there will be consequences. Consequences. Such a simple word. Such a heavy one. I nodded slowly. Okay, I said. And just like that, it was decided. Not out of anger. Not out of revenge. Out of necessity. That's what I told myself. The process started that same day. Reports filed. Statements written. Documents signed. Each one felt like I was drawing a line. This is mine. That is not. This is mine. That is not. Over and over again. She started calling more after that. Not texting. Calling. I didn't answer the first few times. Then one night I did. Sarah, she said immediately. What are you doing? I'm fixing what you broke, I said. You filed something, she said. Not asking. Saying. Yes. You didn't have to do that, she snapped. We could have handled this privately. There is no private version of this, I said. You're ruining everything, she said. I almost laughed. Everything. I repeated. What exactly am I ruining? She didn't answer that. Instead, she changed tone. Softer. You don't understand what I was dealing with, she said. Then explain it, I said. Silence. Because she couldn't. Or wouldn't. I did what I had to do, she said finally. No, I said. You did what was easiest for you. That's not fair, she said. Neither is putting someone else's life in your name and hoping they won't notice, I said. She exhaled sharply. You're acting like I destroyed you, she said. I paused. Because that question sat heavier than she expected. You didn't destroy me, I said slowly. You just made sure I have to rebuild everything from scratch. She didn't respond. For the first time. She had nothing. I trusted you, I added. And I don't know why I said it. Maybe because I needed her to hear it. Maybe because I needed to hear it out loud. That's your mistake, she said quietly. That line stayed with me. Not because it hurt. Because it confirmed everything. I ended the call. And this time, I blocked her. Not out of anger. Out of clarity. A few days later, things started shifting. Notifications. Account updates. Fraud claims progressing. Some balances removed. Some frozen. Some still under review. It wasn't instant. But it was moving. And then Donna called again. They came by, she said. Who? I don't know exactly, she said. But they were asking questions. About accounts. About money. I closed my eyes. Okay. She's not handling it well, Donna added carefully. Of course she wasn't. Because for the first time, this wasn't something she could talk her way out of. She keeps saying you overreacted, Donna said. That didn't surprise me. She always says that, I replied. There was a pause. Are you okay? Donna asked. I thought about it. And for the first time since all of this started, I gave a real answer. I think I am, I said. And I meant it. Because something had changed. Not outside. Inside. The fear was gone. The confusion too. All that was left was distance. Clean, quiet distance. I wasn't waiting for her to explain herself anymore. I wasn't hoping she'd suddenly understand what she did. I wasn't trying to fix anything between us. I had stepped out of it. Completely. And once I did, everything she built started collapsing on its own. Not because I pushed it. Because it couldn't stand without me. And that realization. That was the turning point. Not the bank call. Not the confrontation. Not even the truth. That? Understanding that the only reason any of it worked was because I was part of it. And now I wasn't. The last time I saw her, she didn't open the door right away. I stood on the porch longer than I expected. Long enough to notice the small things that felt off. The curtains were closed. The porch light was still on even though it was the middle of the day. And there was a stack of unopened mail shoved against the door like it had been there for a while. I almost left. Not because I was scared. Because I didn't know if there was anything left to say. But then the lock clicked. And she opened the door. She looked smaller. Not physically. Just worn down. Her eyes moved past me at first, like she didn't want to meet mine. Why are you here? She asked. No anger. Just exhaustion. I needed to see you, I said. She hesitated, then stepped aside. I walked in. The house felt different. Not messy. Just quiet. Like something had been drained out of it. She didn't offer coffee this time. She didn't tell me to sit. She just leaned against the counter and crossed her arms. They've been calling, she said. I nodded. I know. You did that, she added. Not accusing. Just stating it. No, I said. I stopped covering for you. That landed. She didn't argue. For a second, I almost saw it. Not guilt. But something close to it. You didn't have to go that far, she said quietly. I let that sit between us. Then I said, you didn't have to use my name. She flinched. Just a little. I was trying to survive, she said. No, I replied. You were trying not to lose what you built. She looked at me then. Really looked. And I think she realized something in that moment. I wasn't there to fix anything. I wasn't there to help her. I wasn't there to go back to how things were. I can't fix this, she said. It was the first honest thing she'd said since this started. I know, I said. Silence filled the room again. But it wasn't heavy this time. It was final. What happens now? She asked. I thought about that. About all the outcomes. The legal side. The financial side. The family side. And I realized. I didn't need to know everything. I move on, I said. She swallowed. And me? I didn't answer right away. Because this was the part one had been avoiding. Not the anger. Not the betrayal. This. The truth without emotion. You deal with what you did, I said. Her face tightened. Not from anger. From understanding. And for the first time, she didn't push back. She didn't justify it. She didn't say I was overreacting. She just stood there. And let it be what it was. I turned to leave. My hand was already on the door when she spoke again. Sarah. I stopped. But I didn't turn around. I didn't think it would end like this, she said. I closed my eyes. Neither did I. But I didn't say that. Instead, I said, it didn't have to. And then I left. That was the last conversation we had. After that, things moved forward. Slowly. But forward. Some accounts were cleared. Some weren't. Some damage stayed. But it was mine to fix now. Not something hidden. Not something borrowed. Mine. I kept working with James. Kept rebuilding. Step by step. It wasn't easy. But it was honest. And that made a difference. Donna told me a few weeks later that things had gotten worse. More questions. More pressure. Fewer people willing to help. Robert disappeared from the picture. That part didn't surprise me. People like him don't stay when things get real. And for the first time, my mom didn't have anyone left to shift things onto. No one to soften it. No one to carry it. Just her. And what she did. I didn't go back. I didn't check in. I didn't try to fix it. Because for once, I understood something clearly. I wasn't responsible for the consequences of her choices. Only my own. And mine were finally mine. Some nights, I still think about it. Not the money. Not even the accounts. Just that moment in the kitchen. When she said, I knew you'd be okay. Like that made it acceptable. Like that gave her permission. And I think that's the part that stays with me the most. Not what she took. But how easily she decided I could afford to lose it. So I stopped trying to make sense of her. I stopped trying to measure whether it was worth it. I stopped trying to decide if I should feel guilty. Because the truth is, she didn't lose me when I filed those reports. She lost me long before that. Every time she chose herself over me and called it survival. Every time she used my name like it belonged to her. Every time she assumed I'd just be okay. I didn't destroy her life. I just stopped letting her use mine. And now I'm rebuilding something she can't touch. Something she can't take. Something she can't rewrite. And for the first time, it feels like it actually belongs to me. I just don't know if walking away from her makes me stronger. Or if it makes me exactly like her in the end.